We're going over the full moon Moonology houses, just the first 6 of them in this video, in just a minute. Hey guys, I'm Mel from melsdivination. I'm the owner, the operator, and the creator here. This is Tonks. She's chilling with us today, right here. I am here to go over the full moon Moonology video that I've been promising forever. If you're new here, thank you for joining. If you've been with us for a long time, thank you for sticking around. If you're unfamiliar, like Mel, what are you talking about? A while back, I would go live during every full moon and during every new moon, and I would read from Yasmin Boland's Moonology book. What is the houses? What is the energy for each individual sign? And it ended up becoming really tedious because I wanted to pull live cards for people and just do a general update of the current energy, and it just became redundant, repetitive, and by the time I was done reading the book to you guys, I ended up being far too out of energy to be able to really do cards for you. So I had been promising for months and months now to get out a pre-recorded video of this. This information is not mine. It is Yasmin Boland's, okay? I'm not taking any kind of credit copyright-wise with that as far as that's concerned. I'm sharing information directly from her book the way I would have done it on the live videos. So now you guys can just come back and look at this whenever you are ready for that, okay? Basically, just to start us off, I'm going to go over what the full moon energy is in every single house of the zodiac. If you're not familiar with the houses, that's something that you need to look into. For instance, when there's a full moon in, let's say, Gemini, right? Gemini is in a certain part of your personal chart as well as in my personal chart, and our charts would be different. You need to know where that moon falls, where that sign is in your personal chart. What house is it in? Because that will directly affect the energy that you should be working with during that full moon. And as we have 12 months of the year, we have 12 full moons throughout the year. And it goes from house 1 to house 12, just like with the months, okay? I'm going a little bit deeper than I planned, but I did want to give a little bit of background to this for you guys. So basically, you need your rising sign. If you don't know your time of birth, you can't really find your rising sign that way. So you can also go by your sun sign, which is the zodiac sign that you're born under. It's not as exact, but it works, okay? All right, so each house, I'm going to get into this now. Each house is set up the exact same way. So the descriptions of every house is the same format. There is always an emotional alert for each house, and it starts off with the full moon can bring up intense feelings of. I'm going to cut down on that saying every time. I'm not going to repeat the exact saying every single time. Affirmations are at the end of every house. They are suggested to be done on the night of that full moon. If you work with the moon each month, you will heal and work through every house in your chart in 1 year's time. And you might be like, Mel, why would I even do that? It's up to you. If this doesn't resonate with you, that's absolutely okay. I always work with the full moon and the new moon energy because I'm just a moon baby. I love the moon. But full moon is a great time for manifestation, strong manifestation. It's also a great time for releasing things. And if you do nothing else throughout the year for yourself when it comes to astrology, you may want to look into the moon things because it does help your energy on a regular basis. And the one other thing I did mean to mention to all of you is that this is one astrological aspect within multiple cycles. So this is a piece of it, Do not just think the full moon is all on its own and this is the only energy you're getting. So make sure you look at the other things in the astrology whenever you're looking at this video before you take action. Is Mercury in retrograde? Might not be a good time to change anything right now. That kind of concept, okay? So we're going to start off with the first house. This video just covers up to the 6th house because it's going to be a long video. We're going in depth of each house of how to work with it with a full moon, okay? I'm not talking about the zodiac signs. I'm just talking about the houses right now. So full moon in your first house. This also covers if there's some kind of an eclipse under the full moon too. This is known as your image zone, okay? This moon and house is the start of your personal lunar 12-month cycle. So it's the beginning of your yearly cycle of the moon. In the coming 2 weeks, expect to turn the corner in one way or another in your personal or professional life. The emotional alert is the full moon can bring up intense feelings about your appearance or stresses and strains in a relationship. It can be a big turning point. The message for this moon, it's all very well and lovely to be focused on someone else. It certainly sounds like a valiant thing. But once a year, the full moon lights up in your first house to remind you that you also need to focus on yourself. Many of us are givers rather than takers, and while that sounds great, it actually messes with the flow of our lives. It is the time to remember how to say yes when people offer to help you, and to ask for help if you need it and you're not getting it. You could feel extra emotional during this cycle, but a lot of the stuff that's coming up for you needs to be dealt with, so don't run away from it. You're probably going to be extra emotional during every full moon, let's just be real, but it might be stronger in the first house when it falls in your first house. Release any issues you have about your appearance. This might sound superficial, but it's amazing how feeling that we're too fat or too thin or too anything else can negatively impact our life and stop us from getting out there and reaching our full potential. Work on yourself and find at least 1 or 2 things that you really love, that you know is gorgeous about you, no matter what other feelings you might have about other parts of your looks. Focus on that. Play it up, revel in it. It's important and somehow extra personal in this moon. Use it to work out what you want to take with you into your next 12-month cycle and what and who you want to leave behind. Now, there will be a tug of war between your needs and those of the people who are most important to you. Find a balance between your lover, your partner, your ex, or anybody else who counts as a VIP in your life and you. This can be a time when you realize that you've been too focused on someone else and it's time to focus on yourself for a while. Or it could be the total opposite, where you're focusing too much on yourself, you've been a little bit selfish lately, and you need to give somebody else your time and attention. It's all about me and you, much as it is in the 7th house, the full moon in 6 months' time. This is your chance to make a 2-time year adjustment. Forgive yourself. Be grateful. Burn your gratitude list. Write down and burn a gratitude list. And the affirmation for the first house is, I am turning the corner. Full moon in your 2nd house. This is your cash, property, and values zone. In the coming weeks, breathe through any financial dramas and focus on finding a solution. The emotional alert is intense feelings about your financial security and stability and about your self-worth. The message is, this full moon reminds you that a balance is needed between what you do for yourself financially and what you do for others. There's your income to be considered and your debts. There's your self-worth and what you think you're worth as a person. And there's what others are willing to pay you, which is usually based on what you ask for, at least within reason. If you're about to make a major purchase, you're doing it at the right time. If you've been letting someone control you because they have financial power over you, your 2nd house in full moon, it is your chance to break free. This full moon is also reminding you that you need to take care of your intimate life. Don't neglect it because of worldly concerns. Release any issues you have about money. The 2nd house is all about cash, property, and possessions. So at this time, there could be some kind of climax or conclusion connected to cash. If you've been fearful regarding cash lately, work with this full moon to release that. You can move into a better financial cycle now. One thing to be strongly aware of is your self-esteem. It will affect how much cash you attract. If you believe you don't deserve it, you won't get it. A tug of war could happen between your own money and what other people pay you or owe you. Find a balance between issues you have regarding a give and take. If you want to earn your own cash rather than be employed by someone else, this is a very good time to plan your exit strategy or cut the ties. Of course, don't just turn around and quit your job if you need that for your livelihood. Please use common sense about the things that I am sharing with you. If you've been too focused on or dependent on someone else, now is the time to bring your attention back to your own situation. It's a good time to get your head around the idea that the universe is abundant and there's more than enough for everybody. You deserve to be abundant. Money is an energy. We've talked about that before. Forgive yourself and anyone else you need to for times when money has been an issue. And the affirmation is, all of my needs are met and I am worth it. Full moon in your third house. This is your communication zone. In the coming 2 weeks, you could say more than you mean to. Intense feelings about siblings and neighbors and about whether or not you should be honest about how you feel. Messages, it's all very well dreaming of the great escape where you and possibly a loved one or two decide to take off to see the world, or at least the nearby countryside. But what about the details? The full moon reminds you that there's a lot of work to be done close to home. Things need to be taken care of. The items on your to-do list need to be ticked off. It's also a celestial reminder that you seriously need to express yourself. If you haven't been honest about how you feel, now is the time to start and say your piece. Whether you're talking face-to-face, Facebooking, emailing, tweeting, or whatever, dramas with siblings are highlighted now and can be sorted out. Release any issues you have about communication, your siblings, or your neighbors. Be extra careful not to allow disagreements to escalate out of control. For some, the full moon here will reveal the information that's needed to solve a long-standing problem or query, question, issue. Be careful what you write down on paper, in an email, in a text, on social media, or anywhere else at this time. Emotions are running high. She does say that a lot in the full moon. So don't hit send and then regret it. Problems with siblings and neighbors can come to a head now too. Issues can be resolved with forgiveness. Remember, it's often less what you say than how you actually say it. A tug of war may arise between where you are and where you think you would like to be. Find a balance between your own backyard and the big wide world out there. This is also a full moon that can trigger some kind of development or resolution regarding a legal issue. Distant friends and relatives can loom larger, as can trips away and job opportunities abroad. Where do you want to be, here or there? Forgive yourself for any negative words you've spoken. Forgive your neighbors and siblings for any upsets. And the affirmation is, as I express myself with love, life brings me all I need. Fourth house of the full moon. This is your home and family zone. In the coming weeks, pay attention to what your family needs and your own needs for personal space and private time. The emotional alert is feelings about your family. Send them blessings. Messages. Working like a dog to achieve your personal goals sounds like a very good thing, but there's a time and a place for everything. And at the time of your fourth house full moon, you're in a cycle when the planets, and the sun and the moon in particular, are suggesting that you need to find a balance between your outer aims and goals and your inner needs. Perhaps your family needs you to spend more time with them, or perhaps you just need some time with nothing on your mind. Take a look at your family relationships and ascertain if everything is running as smoothly as you would like. If not, this is the time to pour some energy into that part of your life. Release any issues you have about your personal life, home, or family. Issues to do with your family can come up now, so be ready. Don't dread this though, rather see it as a chance to sort out any outstanding upsets. Our family members are people with whom we have a very karmic connection, and any issues that come up do so to help us evolve. The full moon here can also be a time when we make changes to where we live. If you're not sure about the best way forward regarding your home or where you call home, meditate on it and ask your guides for directions. Issues and projects connected to the home can be resolved now. A tug of war could happen with what you want to achieve in your life professionally and what you required to do at home. Find a balance between your personal life and your career. Maybe you're a driven person who forgets to have a personal life and neglects your partner, friends, while working long hours. Or perhaps you are a family type who knows you have more to offer the world. Either way, this is your time to strike a balance. Ambition and family work well together. Okay. Success can allow you to spoil your loved ones, and your desire to provide for your family can inspire ambition. Forgive yourself for any upsets you have had with family or roommates, flatmates, is what she says. Make your home a peaceful sanctuary. Affirmation is, I am safe and secure. Fifth house, your kids, romance, and creativity zone. Personally, I've always found that weird as a group together, but it is what it is. In the coming 2 weeks, check whether you're having enough fun. Fun is good for you. Intense feelings about things with a child, your own or somebody else's, your love life, or a creative project you're working on could pop up. There's usually messages. There's usually a whole lot of emotion going on in your chart and your life at the time of the full moon in your fifth house of self-expression. You can be pouring your heart out, perhaps because you're sad, or maybe just because you have a lot of emotions to download. For some of us, it's about the joy that a child, our own or somebody else's, brings. And for others, it's about pouring emotion into a creative project where we're working. And while this is going on, you need to find a balance between yourself and your friends. Don't neglect them totally. This is your challenge for the next coming month. Release any issues that you have about allowing yourself some time off. The past few weeks may well have seen you working very hard, but now you may feel put upon by the need to look after your friends. Turn that around if you can and make this a very sociable time in which the person having the most fun is you. An issue related to a child, your own or someone else's, can come to a peak now. Hopefully for resolution in a way that makes everybody happy. If you have a creative project on the back burner, it's a very good time to complete the latest stage or even finish it all together. A tug of war could arise between what your friends need and what you need for yourself. Self-expression is a focus, as are kids and creative projects. Find balance between how much you cater to the needs of the groups and social circles to which you belong, versus how often are you taking center stage. Being yourself, speaking up, and letting the world know what you have to offer. It's safe to be with lots of people doing what they do, but this is the time to show the world who you are. If a love affair ends now, it's doing so at the right time. One that starts now could be very feelings-filled and may even wax and wane with the moon. Forgive anyone who drags you down, yourself for any time you felt that you were not a great parent or any time you took life too seriously. And this affirmation is, I am a creative being. Our final house in this video is the sixth house. This is your daily work and health zone. In the coming 2 weeks, find the way to bring peace into your life. Emotions could be about what you do every day to earn a living. It can also herald fears about health, which might be completely unfounded. Messages. If you're one of the lucky ones, for example, you've been working on yourself, This is the full moon when you see yourself for who you really are. You therefore see your good points as well as your flaws, and you decide to do something about your flaws. This is all about the daily life you lead. Are you living in a healthy fashion? Are you getting out and about to exercise? Have you long ago given up bad habits such as smoking and partying too much? If not, then this full moon is your annual chance to start again when it comes to taking care of yourself, your body, your mind, and your spirit. Routines are your friend at this moon. At work, go slow and steady. Release any issues you have about habits that you need to break. This part of your chart is concerned with the daily rhythms of your life. If you're not happy with the way you're doing things, with the way your life is going, and all that, with your morning or evening routines, this is the full moon to tune into, to let go of the old ways and start doing them differently. In particular, any unhealthy or even toxic habits should be released now. Be it not drinking enough water, or drinking too much alcohol, or not doing enough exercise, or eating too much, or not eating enough. Our daily habits impact our health, and your sixth house is all about habits and health. Look after your habits, and your health should take care of itself. A tug of war could happen between your need to deal with the real world and do your duty, and your need to find some peaceful time out. Find a balance between your daily grind and the mysterious cosmos. Yes, you heard that right. Most of us have a daily grind of some kind, things we need to do, responsibilities we have to take care of, duties we can't avoid. And then there's bliss, peace, time out, meditation, contemplation, and the great void or the gap, the mysterious place in the universe where we can just be. Introducing a daily meditation or yoga practice can really help with balancing things up at the time of this moon. In fact, it's actually highly recommended. Forgive the people you see every day who annoy you in little ways, quite possibly in much the same way that you criticize them. Forgive yourself for any unhealthy habits, make some changes, and move on. Affirmation is, I am in perfect health. And that wraps up our 1 through 6 houses for the full moon in Moonology. There will be timestamps for each house so you can jump right to it. And this will be a resource that you can use forever, as long as it's up and available. So for each full moon, at some point, it's going to hit one of these houses in your chart every single year. And this is now a resource available to you free, instead of having to buy the book and go through it all. I hope you enjoyed this. Keep an eye out for part 2. That one is coming very soon. And I'll see you guys all soon. Bye for now.